Hello, welcome to my page. I am the Dapper Man, and this is going to be my review for The Invisible Man. This is not The Invisible Man from 1933, which is directed by James Whale, which everyone knows, and it is one of my favorite movies. So much my favorite that I have the Steelbook edition of this Blu-ray, which has the Alex Ross paintwork. I absolutely love this movie, and I've never watched the sequels of it. I've only watched the first one, which is one of those amazing things. When I got a Universal box set, I now get to watch all of the sequels to Invisible Man, because when I was at a video store, we never had the sequels. When there was one sequel that came inside, someone had it and they replaced it with some other VHS tape, and we never acquired that back. So now I get to watch those, which I'll be watching in a couple of months. Besides that, this is the 2020 version of the Invisible Man, that's the poster right for it. Now there was many different posters for this. And I have to say, the best looking poster is this one. I'm moving a bit back because it's the IMAX poster. That is how you do a movie poster. When I watched the trailers and everything else for it, I didn't care for it. When I was watching it, I was like, yep, here we go again. We're just going to watch another rehash of a classic Universal monster film that's going to be utter rubbish. It's going to be just grabbed, chunked into a blender, and throw it out like yesterday's rubbish. And that's what happened when we got like the retelling or the restory remake of The Mummy so many times. This time trying to keep it more and more action packed. We got the same thing when we had one back in, I believe it was 2010 for The Wolfman, which had Anthony Hopkins and Benicio del Toro and so many others. Now this film is directed by Lee Manel, if you know who he is. He's been part of projects with James Wan, and that was part of the Insidious movies. And there was one other, I can't remember for the life of me what it is. And it also has Elizabeth Moss. Now, I can tell you, I never watched any movie. If I have, she was very short roles, not very much, but she was in this movie. Just going to tell you one thing. If you watch the theatrical trailer, it's not what it is. In my biased opinion, it is not a good trailer. In fact, it's a very rubbish trailer. It's not something that you actually would want to see. You're like, oh, they basically gave you everything away. In some ways not. In this retelling of The Invisible Man, we are introduced into this dark type of extremely expensive mansion that's very modern, and this abused wife is trying to escape her husband. Her name is Cecilia, and she calls her sister. They meet up, and she barely escapes the clutches of her tormentor. Her husband is very manipulative. He is very sociopathic, and he is a pathological liar. Her sister takes her to an old friend's house with his daughter, teenage daughter, and he is an officer. So that he's like, you can stay here for as long as you need to, because you need to stay away from that, and you need to find a way to get divorced from this man. It doesn't take very much longer, because within possibly, a couple of weeks that has passed by, the brother-in-law, who is also his attorney, has showed pictures and says that he has committed suicide, and it's been fact with every form of information through everyone that they have confirmed he is dead. They have his ashes inside of a jar, and it's like he cannot be more dead than dead. But she has very strong suspicions. She still believes that no matter what, he is still tormenting her. This review is non-spoiler, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But it shows that, is this person still alive tormenting her, or is it not? Is it in her head, or is it not? Maybe he really is dead. And then at the same time, it's like, no, he really is not dead, because there is evidences of these things that he is actually there. Now, like I said, the trailer, it shows a lot of spots showing like the hand on the shower trailer, on the shower door and so forth. That was not in the movie. And there was a couple of things that was not in the movie. For some reason, they feel like they had to add these parts into the trailer, which did no justice for it at all whatsoever. I can say this movie is incredible. It is great. It is fantastic. This is a movie I want to see. It does not have to be based on the H.G. Wells novel. It took that idea and made it something different and made it its own. It is a horror science fiction. There's no overacting, which I have to give a strong big kudos to Elizabeth Moss. She does it so well and so fantastic. She knows exactly how to balance her character between sanity and insanity, to take all of these things inside her life, trying to balance the relationships of her best friends, of her sister, and other family members, and keep it just right where she is trying to prove her sanity towards others. And in not one part of the movie did she feel like she was overplaying or underplaying her character, and that was just fantastic. Everyone played their roles just right, but she shines in this movie so much, and I was so impressed with her and impressed with how they did this story. They really thought the story out, and that was even more incredible because I was really, I was on the edge of my seat. I even released a gasp twice. I heard a man above me scream, "No!" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this whole theater is all tensed up. This is a good horror film." So many times when I see horror films, they always do the jump scares. This movie did have a jump scare too, but it wasn't really a jump scare. It's like you knew it was coming and it played it off just in case you had those people who were really, I guess, super tense over every little thing that happened. So you knew the jump scare was coming, so it really, I don't know what to say. Was it or was it not? I don't know. I love the camera settings. There was no shaky cam. Thank you. That was my favorite part. There was no shaky cam. I was expecting to see loads of shaky cam, and when the camera shakes so much, it becomes quite nauseous and ridiculous. And I believe it's starting, maybe, hopefully, become a trend that's done away with because I hate it. I hate that style with a passion. Right there watching it lingering as it's going through like this kitchen scene and things starts happening, so you're wondering, is this really someone inside her house that's her husband being invisible that's not really dead? Or is it just a set of unfortunate events that's happening? Now it comes to a point where certain things become quite evident, and certain things are, you could see like, okay, I see where this is going now, because when it was more than halfway there, I was like, okay, I see where this is going. I would say the first 2/3 of this movie is the best. If I could say, you must watch this movie. It's very good. It is excellent. This is a great thriller slash sci-fi slash horror. So it's a thriller sci-fi horror. Horrifying in this aspect that's not going to have you tons of jump scares, but just scary to know in your mind of how people can be manipulative, how they can be just a pathological liar, and they can just be so sadistic in their mind, trying to twist you and trying to make you think, how you should talk, how you should act. And this movie did hit me on a very strong personal level because I had personally, in my life, had been growing up with that type of environment, and it really got me into my heart and my mind, just thinking of how growing up and being around different people when I was once at a different spot in my life, when I was with some people, and it came to a point where they had convinced me in my mind that I am not this person, that I need to be just like them. I was even in a relationship with someone, and she was always telling me how I need to talk like this, I need to look like this, I need to give her a hug and a kiss, I need to say thank you, and it was like, it was very twisted. So this movie really got me onto that level of understanding what Cecilia was going through, and it made me just like sat there for a moment and just process inside my mind. This movie does a very great way of expressing that topic without being overbearing on it, but just bringing it enough as an awareness to it. And this movie is very good. This is a movie I will own. I am. This movie is that good. In fact, I think after this review, I'm going to go back to the theater. I'm going to watch it again because I want to see what I may have missed. And that is my review for The Invisible Man. And I hope you will get a chance to watch it too. Just so you know, the film is rated R. Here is the reason why it's rated R. And I have to say, it is a bit more tamer than I thought it would be, because I really thought it was going to be very graphic. Now, there is 2 or 3, I can't remember. There was a few graphic deaths in it, but it wasn't like overly graphic, like, oh my gosh, there's someone's skin dripping off their body. It wasn't like that type of graphic. So, figured I should let you know. there's something I'm planning on doing. If I hit 300 subscribers, that I will do a review in history of the movie 300 and the comparison from the graphic novel to the movie. I can tell you my thoughts on it right now, but why do that? Why spoil it? Just go ahead, hit subscribe, and I will do that as soon as I get my 300 right there. And I'm not getting paid for this, so don't worry. Don't think I'm trying to scam you out of money or so forth. I have no Patreon. I have nothing. This is all me, entirely myself, just enjoying doing this review and learning how to edit and learning how to do this process. I really appreciate it. I thank you so very much for being part of this channel and watching this. So if you know anybody, share, tag them, say, hey, I have this friend, this person who's on YouTube. He seems to be pretty good, or he is very good, or I love him. Love. That is all I have to say. So I know this review is a bit longer than it should, so that is it. Hopefully all of you will have a lovely day, and I will see you around. Until next time, take care. Cheers.